This is On Point with Miss Britt, bringing you this week's updates. Now, before we get into it, I already was pretty vocal about this, and hopefully everything is put to bed because they both did interviews between, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, because I'm tired of hearing it all over my timeline. So the only point that I'm going to make to this whole thing is, first of all, there are no rules in trash talking. The only thing I will say is don't talk about nobody's family. But other than that, ain't no rules. So y'all need to cut with the mess. And then on top of that, y'all were saying at the beginning of the season that women's basketball was boring. So now that it's exciting and they talking trash like the men, it's classless and y'all got an issue with it. Make up your mind. Stop being a dang on hypocrite. But that's all I got to say on that. So now let's get into this recap. So I will be recapping today, March Madness, obviously, the Final Four and both championship games between the men and women. So let's go ahead and start with the women because we got a lot to get through with the women because this season they went off this season. All right, so let's start off with the Final Four. So I'm just going to get into the game that everybody was trying to tune into, Iowa versus South Carolina. So Iowa did win that game 77-73 and ended up ending South Carolina's winning streak. And actually South Carolina was trying to become the fourth team in NCAA women's history to have an undefeated season as well as a championship. But unfortunately, Iowa ended those dreams. So during the game, Caitlin Clark, she put up 41 points. Zia Cook from South Carolina, she put up 24 points. And I know everybody was talking about, now let me just say this. Even though Caitlin put up 41 points, South Carolina still could have won that game. And I'm just going to put a little perspective for y'all because I know a lot of y'all don't even watch women's basketball. Y'all weren't even watching during the regular season. Y'all tuned in for the tournament. So during the regular season, Iowa played NC State, and Caitlin dropped 45 points, but they ended up losing to NC State 94-81. And the reason why is because Caitlin put up 45, but nobody else was shooting. I think McKenna Warnock, she put up 15 points, but a few of the players on NC State, they had like 20-point games. Like 3 of the players had 20-point games. So, and they were out rebounding them. So even though Caitlin Clark put up 41 points, South Carolina could have won the game. Now the issue with South Carolina is, for one, they out rebounded Iowa 26-5. But instead of turning those rebounds into buckets, they kept missing shots. And then on top of that, so they didn't capitalize those rebounds in the buckets. Let's start off with that. Then Aaliyah Boston was getting double teamed the whole time, and they're used to her getting double points. They're used to her getting double doubles, and she only got 8 points this game. So then Cardoso tried to step in and step up. She got 14 points, and Cardoso is 6'7". Just wasn't enough. They were just it was too much for South Carolina. And then also, I thought they were going to make adjustments in the second half, maybe slow Caitlin down, double team her. They didn't even do that. And it seemed like a few times they were a little bit confused on defense as well. So, yeah, Iowa ended up going to the championship. It was a good game, and it was well-deserved. So, congrats to them. Now, the game before Iowa and South Carolina was LSU versus Virginia Tech. And LSU ended up winning 79-72. And LSU, they had their first half struggles. They were turning over the ball and missing shots, and they were actually down. They trailed 59-50 after 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter, they went on a 15-0 run to take the lead. Angel Reese, she had another double-double with 24 points and 12 rebounds. And then Alexis Morris scored 27 points. Virginia Tech's Elizabeth Kitley, she had 18 points and 12 rebounds. And Georgia Moore, she set the record for most three-pointers in a single NCAA tournament. So LSU ended up going to the championship, and then which brings us to Sunday's game, which brought in 9.9 million views. They said it was the highest rated women's championship game ever, which I expected nonetheless. I knew it was going to be a battle. I was just thinking, like, as long as LSU didn't turn over the ball and get those rebounds and turn them into buckets, I knew it was going to be a good game. But if they weren't able to do that, then I was thinking that I was going to take it away. And then also slow down Caitlin Clark. And LSU did all that. They did all that during the game. So as you all know, LSU beat Iowa 102-85. First of all, can we just give them a moment? LSU really dropped 102 points. Like, 102 points in the championship game. That's crazy. And give it up for Iowa too, 85. That's high as well. So, but my issue with the game was the officiating. There is no way that most of the starters in the game were in foul trouble or fouled out. Like, they were given the most ridiculous fouls. And I thought that Caitlin Clark tech was very petty. When Angel Reese got her third foul, that was petty when the ball was going out of bounds. I don't even understand how that was a foul. It was just so ridiculous. Like, let these ladies play. So that's one critique that I would give the game. But all in all, it was a really great game. But as far as like the starters, like this was ridiculous. Angel Reese had 3. LaDasia Williams had 4. Alexis Morris had 3. And then on Iowa's side, Caitlin Clark had 4. Monica Cesano, she fouled out. And then McKenna Warnock fouled out. Like, I just thought that was so ridiculous. Let these girls play. So, LSU came into the game shooting 19% from the 3. And during the championship game, they ended up shooting 64.7% from the 3, which was so crazy. The bench showed up big time. Jasmine Carson, she had 24 points. She was 5 from 6 from the 3. And she was hitting buckets in Caitlin Clark's face. That's one thing. Like, Caitlin Clark, she is a shooter, no doubt. But defensively, she a little rusty, man. Because Jasmine was shooting them things right in her face. So, like I said, LSU, they out-rebounded Iowa. And they actually were turning those rebounds into buckets. And Angel Reese was right there at that basket, getting it in. The defense slowed down Caitlin Clark. She only had 30 points this game. So, I'll give it up to Alexis Morris for, putting it all on the floor. She really made sure that she was not able to hit them shots. Monica Cesano, she had 13 points, which is pretty low for her. LSU's Alexis Morris, she turned up in the fourth quarter. She ended up with 21 points. Angel Reese got her 34th career double-double. She had 15 points and 10 rebounds, the most in D1 women's history. And then she also got most outstanding player in the tournament. LaDasia Williams had 20 points. Flau'jae Johnson, she is only a freshman, and she added 10 points. Actually, she's been having a really good tournament. She's had a lot of steals. Like last game when they played Virginia Tech, Flau'jae, she's the one that got them on that, a 9-0 run against Virginia Tech with her steals. So, yeah, she's definitely going to grow and become a really dope player within the next couple of years. And she's only a freshman, and she already got a ring. I know that's right. So let's talk about Iowa and Caitlin Clark and what she's done in this tournament. For one, she broke Cheryl Swoop's record for most points in the NCAA tournament. She also is the first player in history of the D1's tournament to have back-to-back 40-point games. She had 1,000-plus points in one season. Crazy. Her 13th game with 30-plus points this season, most in NCAA this year. And then she also has 89 straight games scoring in double figures, which is the longest active D1 streak. So shout out to Caitlin Clark. She had an amazing season. And the crazy thing is, y'all, she'll be back next year. But as far as Iowa, she's the only starter that's coming back. They're all seniors. And then, they could elect for a 5th year because of COVID. So I forgot about that. So we'll see what happens if the other girls are going to try to go to the draft or if any of them are going to opt for the 5th year. And then on LSU's side, they're losing Alexis Morris and LaDasia Williams. They just announced that they were going to the WNBA draft. And then LSU's coach, Kim Mulkey, She gets her 4th title. She already won 3 with Baylor. And then this is the first title for LSU men or women's in program history. So a lot of history was made during this season, and I applaud the women. They have really elevated the game of basketball. They've taken it to new heights. So shout out to them for all that work that they put in this season. It definitely was exciting. So hopefully more people can tune into next year, like next season, starting the regular season, because the regular season was good to me. So we'll see next year what happens. All right, so moving on. Now we got to discuss the men's tournament. So the Final Four of the men's, we have Florida Atlantic versus San Diego State. And this was a nail biter at the end. So San Diego State took the win 72-71. In my opinion, the officiating was awful to me. There were some unnecessary fouls. There was a lot of traveling, I'm just saying. But, yeah, I'm just happy it was a buzzer beater, because at first, FAU, they was taking off. It looked like they had that game in the bag. Next thing you know, so FAU led halftime 40-33 after hitting 5 from 11 from the 3-point range. And then San Diego State, they rallied back by contesting shots, getting offensive rebounds. FAU just kept missing shots, man. So San Diego State ended up coming back and tying the game 65-65. And FAU blew a 14-point lead, y'all. But at the buzzer, San Diego State, Lamont Butler, he knocks a shot down to win the game. FAU's Elijah Martin, he had 26 points, and San Diego State's Matt Bradley, he led with 21 points. The next game, UConn versus Miami, and it was a blowout, 72-59. UConn's Adama Sanogo, he dropped 21 points. He was 2 for 3 from the 3-point line, and Jordan Hawkins added 13 points. Isaiah Wong, he scored the highest for the Canes with 15 points. That's why they lost. Wasn't nobody scoring nothing. He had the highest points, 15. All right, the men's championship game, UConn versus San Diego State. And UConn, at first it looked like it could have been like a decent game, but then UConn just started taking off, and 76-59. So UConn had it in the bag. UConn won in dominating fashion. They won their 5th national title. Adama Sanogo won Most Outstanding Player with 17 points and 10 rebounds. Tristan Newton, he had a double-double with 19 points and 10 rebounds. And then Jordan Hawkins added 16 points. And UConn, they had a 16-point lead in the first half. And San Diego State, they trimmed that lead to bring it to 5. But then UConn went on a 9-0 run, and it was over from there. And San Diego State's Keishad Johnson, he had 14 points. So congrats to UConn. Jordan Hawkins and Angel Reese, they are cousins. So they are cousins, and now they are national champs. So that's all I have with the men's for real. It was kind of slow on that side. Not trying to throw no shade, but it was. And then the women put up more points than the men. Lord. Anyways. Well, that's all the updates that I have, and y'all, I ain't even trying to be funny. I'm so happy it's over. I love March Madness and all, but I am exhausted, and I'm glad that it's over with. Next week, I will have updates for the draft, because the NFL draft is coming up. We have a lot of exciting boxing matches coming up, so I'm going to focus on that next week, so tune in next week. And make sure y'all follow my Instagram as well as YouTube on_pointsports614. And make sure you like and subscribe. And I'm out.